Iron sharpens iron. And when you set off into the untamed wilderness, your companions best be made of iron. In the heat of battle and on the precipice of adversity, a man who shirks his duty, cowers in fear, or tells you what he thinks you want to hear could get every soul in the party killed. When hope fades like a vapor and the path gets narrow, we need a man to grab us by the collar and tell us like it is.
There's not a separate line for excuses. You're held accountable for you.
Because in the dark, lonely wildernesses of life, we don't need buddies. We need brothers.
Good job, man. You just killed the tank.
Brothers who are willing to train to fight. Brothers who will march with us, shoulder to shoulder into battle. And always be there, no matter the cost, to make sure the fire of our faith never dies out. This film is brought to you with limited commercial interruption by OnX Hunt, the #1 hunting GPS app. Receive 20% off a new OnX Hunt subscription by entering discount code MDMM at checkout, only at onxhunt.com. We're here in Midland, Texas, and we are meeting Chad Sayre. Chad is a longtime guide in New Mexico and Texas.
At the next light, turn left.
We got a yapping woman in this truck with us. So I'm looking forward to this trip. Don't know what's in store for us, but I guess that's why we're doing it.
Probably arrive about the same time, I think, in Van Horn, so pretty good little Mexican restaurant there. We'll eat or we'll go on to camp. We'll see what we want to do. But yeah, won't be long. See you in 2.5 hours or 3 or so. If I don't have any blowouts or a trailer, gotta fix stuff every time you borrow something.
So that was Chad's post 10 minutes ago. That's what he just sent. He goes, I knew it as soon as I said it. So we might be helping changing a flat here if we catch up to him. Been chatting with Chad by phone for probably a couple of years. Helped him find an Alaska hunt. He loved it. Feel like I've known him my whole life. Never even met him before, so should be a good week. We're waiting on Chad. He said to go ahead and order without him. I ordered the fajita and something else, but it looks pretty dang good, so he's getting the fajita. Thank you. He is real.
How are you, buddy?
Brother, good to meet you.
Long time coming. I know.
I'm like, I'm gonna use that one. This doesn't look like the kind of place you pull into after dark unless they know that you're coming.
That's exactly right.
Do they know we're coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cool place. Wonder if these walls are probably made out of rock.
Yeah, I was kind of a joke down there about I'm fixing to show you what 3 days of not seeing a sheep looks like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to Miss Jill. That's guide rule 107.
Yeah, but
Never tell the clients.
You can say that now because we're here.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the two things you've heard so far. Hey, I ain't too sure how to get here. B, we just flew this 2 weeks ago. Didn't see high hair down in Aoudad. I guess they're all gone.
Well, we get to showcase how good of hunters we are then.
Exactly. Wow, I'm as good at finding nothing as anybody else. We'll find them. That'll make it even cooler, actually.
How big is this place? Do you know? About that big?
It's big. I mean, it's you hunt one day this way, you hunt the next day this way, and there's a couple of these cracks like that. Just a million of those.
Ah, little draws.
There's lots of places. We don't find a sheep. We need to do like some hardcore fasting studying. We need to figure out what's going on in your life. Because this place, or yours, because this place is always produced, so obviously it's not me. It's going to be something going on with you.
Yeah. When's the last time you were here?
A year, maybe, a little less.
No, I've had some conversations with you in the last year.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, well, moving on. No, it'll be good. Actually, it kind of excites me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go really have to look at every crack. It's really hard.
Honestly, I would rather have it be hard or all but impossible than have it be, this is ridiculous.
So I had a plan B for ridiculous, just in case, but maybe we won't have to.
I figured it's usually you guys that are well manicured that like your hard stuff.
I'm not well manicured. I'm meeting you and I want to make a good impression. I ain't shaved my ass in 6 weeks till yesterday. My facial hair changes daily.
Where are you from anyways? What's your nationality? Like,
oh, I did a 23andMe for Christmas. I guess I come from Scotland, Ireland area. And then somewhat Neanderthal or something is what my daughter said. I don't know. I am as white as you can get, which is funny because my grandparents and my dad always swore that we were way Indian, like my grandma was half Indian. And she looked it. She's that tall and whatever. My real biological dad actually has feathers and stuff tattooed on his arms, like Indian. He would always say, you know, boy, that Cherokee blood that runs in us. Well, he did a 23andMe. He's as white as that right there. It distraughted him. He's the the alcoholic drug user guy. Oh. Yeah, it was several years before he got over that. Oh, I've been lied to this whole time. First time I ever came here, I pulled back these beautiful sheets. And I'm telling you, if there wasn't 30 spiders run out of it, there wasn't one. And 2 or 3 of them like carry a small dog off. So I'm just telling you, check your beds. That's all I can say.
what kind of spiders are we looking at?
I don't know, but does it matter, Billy?
That's true. 2. None. I see. I don't want to know.
Yeah, nothing. We're clean.
Probably fumigate this place.
Probably. Well, I don't know that I could live in here with this aroma.
I don't even smell the gas anymore, but I feel happy. This is kind of weird. I almost forget where I put all the stuff in my pack, but I guess I'll have to figure it out. Of course, this is a little different bag than I'm used to. This is a 3,000 cubic inch bag rather than a 7,800. I don't want to carry whatever a 7,800 cubic inch pack can haul anymore. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what this place looks like in the daylight.
God seems to be showing off a little bit today with the sunrise, so I like that. We're trying to find Mr. Billy a big old ram. Look at some cool country and enjoy ourselves with the playground the good Lord built for us to enjoy. So that's the word of the day.
This is how the other half lives, huh? Cruising around in a
This is it, boy.
sport.
I never had no cab. Or we could have conversations, not froze to death.
We're just gonna make sure the rifle's on, and then we're gonna hit the mountains.
Dead sheep. So we'll see them just above the rock line or down on the first bench, and I'm sure you've already looked. I mean, you can see the game trails coming around these rocks and places. But I usually, visually just try to scan like you do. And this time of day, I'm going through this yellow stuff real fast.
On the tops?
Yes, they'll be, they're really hard to see out
No,
there.
okay, yeah. I kind of didn't. I figured, they'll pop out like a sore thumb.
No, that when they're in that stuff up there, to me they're easier to see in this rock.
Oh, interesting. Kind of like down in these swales where it opens up right below the rocks on those hillsides. Would they be feeding there too?
Yeah, in any one of these chutes.
Yeah.
In that greenery. I got some sheep. They're exactly where we don't want them to be. Let's get the big glass and look at them.
Heck yeah, dude. That's cool.
Guess what? There's sheep here. We proved them wrong.
Oh, those are cool.
We know where they're at, and we got a lot of country more to look at, so I say we inventory everything, and then we'll make a plan. Don't worry, it'll be hard like that. It just gets worse this way.
Perfect. I feel like I'm totally naked not bringing my rifle, but I'm almost purposely not bringing my rifle because I don't want to just peek over and shoot one. So we're just getting the lay of the land.
Sheep on that cut right there, huh? In that yellow grass.
Oh, yep. Poked over this ledge, which pretty quickly spotted about 8 or 9 rams, and I don't know if they saw us or smelled us or both, but it wasn't long and they knew we were there, and about 30 seconds later they just started moving straight away. So they headed into this bowl. They should poke out eventually, I would think. Nothing jumped out at Chad as far as being big.
Well, I don't know how good it's gonna be, but we got some sheep. I think we're probably right up almost 20 or so. I didn't count that. It looked like it could have been close to a dozen in that group. Well, sweet. We're 4 spots looking, and we got sheep in 2 of them so far. So that's 50% average there.
That's good. Roughest trail I've ever driven anything on. We have started a second YouTube channel. The Billy Molls channel will be home to all of our Trust the Guide devotionals, but our primary intention with it is mentorship and discipleship for men, young and old. I've been blessed to have had so many mentors and role models in my life that I feel called, that I absolutely have to share their stories and experiences, the real life wisdom and principles they've taught me, as well as some of the lessons I've learned through hard knocks. So if you would, please click on the link on your screen or in the description, like and share the new Billy Molls channel, and as always, trust the guide. I could see getting close to these animals could be a pretty good challenge. Everything is loud and loose, noisy. And there's quite a bit of topography, but not like dull sheep hunting where you get these really big cuts and you can go down in on the backside and almost make as much noise as you want. But they definitely have sharp eyesight. And we better catch up to our guide because he'll probably spot one and be saying take that one, and we're 80 yards away, so better catch up to him. We've been sitting here glassing for 5-10 minutes, kind of thinking, yeah, there could be a couple auodad in here bedded somewhere, you won't see them. And then I look out there right in the middle of a pretty much open country is a horse. So if a horse can stand out in the open and it takes me 5-10 minutes to see it, I'm sure an auodad could be bedded below a rock before I could see it. It could be sitting here all day until he moved and stepped out. And even then, it's amazing where they'll hide. You look over it and you think you've got it all covered, and they blend in. I think if you took all the colors of everything and blended them together, I think you'd have the color of an auodad. It's like right smack dab in the middle of all these colors.
Yeah, when I was growing up, you know, I was the kid that my grandma or mom would lose me and they would find me in the pasture asleep with my BB gun and a dog. The outdoors has always been the way I've connected with God and myself. I was a kid that instead of playing Atari, you know, I had a little Trail 90 motorcycle and all that, and I would pack up a tent, my BB gun, and usually a dog, and was allowed to go 2 or 3 miles from the house and pop a tent, spend the night. That's 4th grade. My biological father and mom, I think, divorced when I was maybe 2 or 3, you know. Got a stepdad thereafter. They divorced when I was 13. At around 15 or 16, first year in high school, I ran into Mandy, and the moment I seen her in high school, I told my best friend at the time, that's gonna be my first love. Now, I didn't think it would last forever because I grew up in a broken home, so my mom would talk about first love, and it was like, oh, it'll be the best love you've ever felt, and it'll hurt worse than the rest. Like, there's no way it's gonna make it. So I really thought, you know, I'm gonna date this girl probably a month or 2 and fall in love and have me the ingredients to a solid country song. You know, I had no idea that we would date all through high school. I got beat up real bad on our Broadway, a little strip that we would all drive back and forth, and the cops, I was in the hospital, cops wouldn't release me unless you call a parent. I didn't have a parent to call. So I had to call my 1-month relationship girlfriend, my wife. I had to call her, and her mother actually came to the hospital to get me. So that Sunday I was in church. So my first time going to church, I had a swollen eye, busted lip, and it was in the newspaper of the night before. It took me about a year to go forward to accept the Lord as my Savior, and I did it August 19th, 1992. This is you just go full tilt in there.
Peanut butter pro tip, you got it. Get as much peanut butter on it as you possibly can. It's a disposable spoon. And you take one down and you pass it around.
You know, it kind of takes it to the next level, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Got oil, sugar, salt.
Never even seen this before.
Stick around, Chad. There's more where that came from.
Thanks, buddy.
Not a whole lot, but a few more things.
Laid right down next to the big old fire ant bed.
Nobody's ever accused me of being smart.
Get them round up for you a little.
Oh, there's one.
Sometimes you can get in a hurry and miss the little cool things like laying on a mesa in West Texas at 6,200 feet with a cool, nice southern southwest wind blowing straight out of Mexico.
Every good hunter I know takes naps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, is that we should be though. I don't know if we're good hunters or not.
Nah, we're just tourists. We're just tourists. We could go back through it and I'd be shocked if we didn't find some more, but we got a lot of country still to kind of look at. To kind of get a hardcore plan for tomorrow, like, okay, unless we go over there and run into a big one.
Yeah, I really don't think we have any business shooting a sheep before we eat an enchilada.
I don't either, unless he's just absolutely like, oh my gosh.
With the luxury of the side-by-side, our mission was to get an overview of the entire ranch. We stopped at every obvious overlook and hiked into almost all the cuts and folds. As much as anything, we were enjoying the fellowship and decompressing from our daily lives. We hit a long dry spell that afternoon, until right before dark, we glassed up a Texas-sized band of auodad. Right straight through here. See that peak right through the road, just down and to the left. Come over here, about 2 steps. Right through those yuccas. There's a whole
Freaking
crap
herd of them. Talking herd.
Yeah, there's a whole crap load.
Oh, there's a smoker, dude.
Is there?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
And
rams.
there's a bunch of them, so I
Yeah,
don't even
there's
know what's
several
all
good
in
ones.
there.
There's 3 on the top. That one's massive.
Golly, dude. There's several small rams, but there are several big rams.
That's exciting. End of day 1, we're just kind of perusing the rest of this country that we haven't looked at today, and we're just about to peek over and we look over here and kind of out in this pretty open, fairly flat face. There's got to be at least 40 sheep. Chad said he thinks they're all rams, but there's definitely some big, heavy bases. I don't know how we'd ever get on them where they're at, but encouraging. That's cool.
Let's go to this bush. We can get right here, stay in line, elite, and then have a clear view of all of them and see exactly what's in there. But I know there's 2 in there that are like. There's a freaking giant down here low. But yeah, they may be gonna be just bailing off right there. I don't know, I've been watching them and they'll just take off running towards us and then back and then just like jousting around with this cooler weather. Might got them feeling froggy, I don't know.
Well, I'm down with whatever you want to do, but if we're gonna make a play on them, we'd have to do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just try to stay out of wind's good, get out of deal, get even with them. If we're close enough to shoot and they're there, we shoot. If they're not, we walk right back here and we got us a freaking solid starting port for tomorrow.
Well, why are we staring at each other?
Let's go.
We leaving this?
I just leave it.
We're racing against dark, but get closer, see what the terrain looks like between us and them. Go from there.
They're 1,170 yards. They're turning like they might come down. They are coming down. Are they? Yes, they are. Let's try to get to that bush right there. There's got to be 40 of them. Yeah, that might be a sign. There's 666 is the yardage to the center one. That's just too far and windy for that shot.
Yeah,
And they're humped together like caribou. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. When you're fighting dark, you're working to get something.
No, yeah.
Well, you got right on the skyline now.
Well, Billy finally spotted some sheep first. It just happened to be 2 Mongos. I don't know, 30 maybe.
I've spotted more sheep than you.
Yes, you have. Anyway, we're running out of daylight. We're about 666 to the mark, to the center of the herd. So marginal wind, no light. They know we're here, but don't seem to care. So we're gonna back out, come back tomorrow, and see if we can't make it happen the right way. And but started out seeing some sheep, ended seeing some sheep. So not bad for a helicopter flight that said they saw nothing a week ago on the entire ranch. I think we're probably at, if there's 30 in that group, we're probably at, close to 50 sheep today.
And there's at least 30 in that group, I think.
At least.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot. You're being pretty conservative, yeah.
Yeah. And pretty much all rams is what we're seeing. So the first group had a good ram. This group's got 2 really good rams. Long hair, big, the kind we're after. So yeah, tomorrow we'll see what happens.
Perfect ending today.
Good job, Billy.
I'm excited to announce our latest Billy Molls hosted adventure. Join me for an unforgettable week of fishing adventure and Christian fellowship. This trip is conducted by fellow brothers in Christ and owners of Rainbow River Lodge, one of the premier flyout fishing outfitters in all of Alaska. We'll be targeting giant rainbow trout, king salmon, chum salmon, Arctic char, grayling, northern pike, and lake trout. The scenery is pristine, the fishing is world class, the food and accommodations are top notch. Cost is $11,700 per person, only 10 slots available. So bring your family, bring your buddies, or come solo. And I look forward to sharing a fishing hole and a campfire with you.
I don't read a lot, but I read a deal. I think it was called 30 Years with Custer or with Kit Carson. It was basically a guide, and he had wrote, they'd get paid by wrote a journal every day. That's how they got paid, basically. You write, today I tracked 17 Indians west of the trail or whatever. And so he was documenting all the Indians he was killing. And they were patrolling I don't know if it's the Oregon Trail, I don't know what trail, Santa Fe Trail, I'm assuming if it's Kit Carson, but what fascinated me about this book is he would get on a high spot, he would see a campfire, he'd get in position, he'd wait till that campfire was out. When it's good and out, all embers, and the Indians were dead, it'd be 3 or 4 bucks or something, sleeping around it. He killed 90% of these Indians with a knife. He'd crawl in while they were asleep, and they would all sleep with their heads toward the fire, right in each other. He'd stab one, club the other one. None of them hardly any of them made it out of the bedroll. And I got thinking about that. Satan will watch you for a long time.
And when he sees that fire, he'll leave you alone. When that fire starts dwindling, he's getting closer. And he'll wait until it's out. You're not connected anymore. And he will rob you. He will wait until it's out. The Spirit of the Lord is not with you anymore. You've done whatever you've done to get away from it. And he will wait 20 years, 30 years, your whole life if he has to. And he'll come in and he'll crush you. In your sleep before you even knew it happened. It's over. That's how some of these guys died in their bed, didn't even know danger. Why? The fire went out. Oh no, Chad. Your fire's been out a minute. I mean, on the flip side of that, what's the easiest way to start a fire? On a fire, you ever started a fire in a stove you burned wood on all night? It's a bed of hot coals. It's gray, but it's hot. Boy, you put just a little bit of anything, that sucker is roaring. Well, as a man, I'm wanting to recognize that even though the fire is out, it doesn't take but a breath of new life, of new fuel to have that thing burning hotter than it ever was. You don't have to grow cold. I mean, there's a way to spark it back up, you know.
So what are the embers? What are those coals?
It's your brothers, but it's also the root of what you used to be. I mean, there's a ton of people in the Bible that used to have it, and they lost it, you know. But those coals were always there. Once you know the truth, you can't unknow the truth. You know, once the Holy Spirit's moved in your life and you've seen, you can't undo that. Now, I mean, there's no doubt Judas knew who Jesus was. Judas knew he healed people. I'm not saying just because you believe in Jesus that you ain't going to go where Jesus ain't. But there were still coals in him. There was still something that could have been, if the right guy, the right person, the right deal would have got in the trench and blew on him, you know. So I think the coals are truth, or of what you knew, of what you've absorbed through the years, you know.
That 100% spoke to me, because as you go into different wildernesses, different seasons of life, you answer different calls. You go into mountains you don't know about. I mean, there's things I don't know already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went to Maine, I was kind of, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'd say intimidated, but it was like, dang, you know, how big is this going to be? What is this going to be like? And I'm like, gosh, it's been too long since I've felt this. I've been way too comfortable for too long.
You know, the mountain men of old, and the Daniel Boones, the Davy Crockett's, so they're all, you know, whoever you want to bring up, ain't not a word ever said about what a fine husband and father he was. You know, that didn't happen.
I mean, if you can survive, you know, 25 years, 3 months at a time, living in a tent with the apex predators walking all around you, you ought to be able to raise some fine children and have a happy life. You know? Now, yeah. I ain't figured that out yet. I got a fine kid, but I ain't too sure the wife's that happy with me, so, you know, too much, but, you know.
Not exactly sure how many thorns are in my fingers, hands, and knees. I'm pretty sure there's a few I don't even know about, so they're gonna be some flavorful reminders of this land for days to come, I believe. The javelina and the auodad await.
They do.
Just don't keep the girls waiting.
All right.
My wife is a born mother. I put off having kids because there's got to wait till it's a good time, you know. So we're living in a 16 by 70 single wide trailer on 20 acres of land about 16 miles from town. Rattlesnakes and coyotes are our friends, and got to have better than that to have a kid, you know, in my mind. So finally I get to where it's time to have a kid. And we're almost 30 now, and lo and behold, I couldn't have kids. So go do the test, well, I can remember it's one of the first times I'd cried as an adult man. I was in a roping arena, roping. I got a call from Mandy. We'd went and done tests, and she's crying on the phone saying, "You can't have kids." What? Everything works, seems fine. And she goes, "He doesn't even find a dead sperm. You don't have none. It's 0. And it's injury or high fever. Oddly enough, as a child, I had pneumonia from I don't remember this, but my mom said I had pneumonia 4 times the first year and a half I was alive. And I rode bareback horses and took a back leg right in the Julio and Iglesias area from a horse called Mighty Mouse, of all horses. And anyway, couldn't have kids. Fast forward through all the adoption process, the background checks, all that. I'm homesick one day from work, which is very rare. I get a phone call from the adoption agency lady, said, "Hey Chad, we have a brand new baby girl, just born this morning, and I think she'd be perfect for you guys. No warning, no build up, no nothing." And I do remember asking this question. I don't mean this insensitive at all, but you're kind of, you know, if you're gonna buy one or adopt one, you kind of ought to get what you want, you know? So I'm thinking help around the ranch and farm and whatever, and like, you know, obviously a strapping young man would be my deal. Someone to follow me around and teach hunting and do man stuff. And so my first question was, "It's a girl?" "Yes, it's a girl." "Is she healthy? Good? Like, she's the prettiest little olive-skinned baby you've ever seen." I'm like, okay, well, probably need to call my wife on this before I tell you we'll take it. And you know her answer, "Praise God, yes, yes, yes." Called back, "We'll take it." There's a part of you, and I think it's just a human part, that you kind of wonder, and I've had people tell me this is why they don't have kids and why they haven't adopted. I don't know that I could love it like it was mine. That is so far from the truth. And I don't know if it's because I growed up. Sayre is not my blood last name. I've had several different stepmothers and this and that, so I don't consider blood family, because blood wasn't there wasn't really a part of me too much. I mean, some of them are, but I shiver at the fact that I could have had kids. It is one of the scariest things to me ever, is to think that I could have had kids and not got this girl. Because the biggest blessing, if anything I've ever done in this life matters at all, it is my child. That is 100%. She is the best of both of us, of me and my wife. These fingers,
Yep.
I think they're the second or third one.
On the top?
Yeah, right on top. Yeah, they look to be all nannies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, their horns are easy to spot with the binos.
Yeah, I believe they're all nannies. Maybe a couple of young rams in there, very young.
They still have a beard, if you will, but there's not much. I've seen better beards on the women back in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I see nothing.
Might be because there's nothing.
Well, a man has to stop and check these different drainages, but our game plan is to head to the fish bowl, back to the land of plenty last night, but it's kind of like seeing something a week before. You can't put all your eggs in that one basket. You got to approach cautiously because who knows where they'll be today. But what would you guess, Chad? Like, what are the odds of them being right in the same area, or what I guess better way to put it, what are the odds of them being like 1 or 2 drainages over, like half mile or mile away?
I think it's a pretty hard 50-50.
That's kind of one thing that I've learned is like, if you go off of old information, you tend to hunt different. I've learned that in Alaska. It's like if somebody says, oh, I saw this big moose, right? Go right there. He wasn't going anywhere, you know, and you go there and then you do that. And then that's when a mile away, you blow them out because in your mind, you're kind of not hunting. You're just trying to get to a spot. And so like there's always a balance no matter what you're doing. And so, yeah, we want to key in on that spot, but who knows where they'll be. So you still got to hunt all the time.
Yeah, we may not take as much time,
right?
But we're not going to drive by sheep to go find sheep that we might not find.
Something that I've found over the years is I'd rather just be in an area where there's animals. I don't want to know, you know, I saw one here, I saw one here. It's just like, yeah, there's a bunch of bulls or there's a bunch of rams up there. Perfect, just let me be. That way I just hunt, and I find that you're just more clear-headed and you're just constantly hunting. If you get too much information, it seems to have backfired for me.
I think it goes like right back like your pack string or your dogs or whatever. When you're starting them out, you want dogs to follow or horses to follow. But the ones that you put value on are the ones that finally figure out how to lead. And as we hunt and get more confident, finally, instead of relying on everybody else, we've grown into a season where I'm just gonna rely on myself, use their knowledge, their tips, not be so hard-headed not to do that.
I don't know, that's why life is freaking exciting, as long as you're doing something hard. As long as you're doing something where you feel a little bit insecure, like you have to do that. As a man anyway. Women, I don't know what makes them tick, but. So the moral of that story is always be hunting.
Yes.
Never put all your eggs in one basket. How many hunters, Chad, have you had that have put their ammo in the cooler?
Not many.
Might be a first.
Is that where you put your ammo?
Yeah, I had it in that bag with the clothes or the food, threw it in there. So, yeah, it's sitting in the bottom, soaking in water. So.
Oh well, I bet we're gonna be okay. But you do have the magazines full with some dry ones.
Yep.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Only 2 different varieties. What do we got? 9 o'clock-ish. We relocated. Looks to be the same band. They're just a couple hundred yards from where they were yesterday, right? Last night, where we put them to bed. Same ridge. So about 1,500 yards away. So we're gonna see if we can put a move on them. Kind of interesting, they're on fairly flat terrain with a little bit of trees and stuff. But I guess this is all Chad's problem. I'm just gonna stay on his heels. Let him put us into position, get a 50-yard shot. Yeah, so what do you think? And this is almost probably like a cross, to pick out a big one, you almost kind of got to be cross canyon scenario, assuming they stay in that area.
Yeah, from what it looks to be me, because we need to probably get on the finger they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And just see how cover is. It does look like it kind of goes low,
It gets a little bit high, makes a flat, but where they're at right now, when we cross that flat, they ain't gonna be able to see us,
Right.
Because they're down in the deal. So if they didn't move, it definitely could be a close shot.
Right.
But we kind of don't want to get, honestly, too close. I'd rather be about 250, 300, so we have time to, because they're 60 something.
Right. And they're all going to,
Yeah.
And when you're on the level with them, they're all going to be.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
So all we can do is try.
One step at a time. The Aoudad were feeding into a hidden draw, likely to find shade for their afternoon beds. The stragglers were still visible as we slipped between the yuccas until we placed a ridge between us.
Aoudad food.
We were out of sight, and the wind was in our face.
Go down to this bottom. I think I'm gonna shed a layer.
This hunt came 2 years after I had to postpone guiding in Alaska to heal a spine injury. I'd say about 6 swear words and we'll be through it. It felt good to be on the stalk again. Physically, I was still far from 100%, but I was mostly pain-free and I could feel muscles in my body coming back to life. The old familiar feeling of being wild and free was intoxicating. The old me would have been giving Chad more input as to how I would go about approaching the rams. But I found myself content, just being along with my brother, in his element, in his country, chasing the critters he's hunted his whole life. I didn't want to rob him of his role in this adventure, and I wanted to allow myself to absorb the totality of this new stage in my life, my career, and in my ministry. There was zero doubt in my mind. God brought Chad and I together for a purpose. I just needed to keep Billy out of it and have faith in his ways and not my own. Chad orchestrated the sneak pretty much exactly as I would have. As we reached the top, the pace slowed, the steps were careful, and the words were few. We knew a ram could pop out at any moment.
About 240. Some awesome video right here. Awesome video. There's a bunch on the pedestal right here. They're kind of scattered all in this saddle. Man, that's cool right there. There's one on the pedestal. I know if you can get to that rock right there, it's gonna take a minute to find the big one.
Yeah. So yeah, we're basically gonna need to be side by side so we can communicate.
Okay. I think if you squeeze through, stay fairly low, and if we can keep out of the sun, we'll be okay. And then get settled up on that rock, and I can move in kind of behind you and look at all of them. If it all works well, they'll let us do it. Quite a few way to the left, higher and left.
Oh yeah.
Billy, you see that one that's raking a tree? On the right-hand side in the group, he's facing away, raking a tree.
That's not a very big one, is it?
I think it's a pretty good one. See how just much bigger his head is than everybody? Got pretty good hair. Got some black in his ears. He's got a tank of a body, dude. Look at his body compared to everybody else walking there. Tell you,
Look at that one up and to the left of him. Holy sh**.
Where? How far up?
Like 40 yards.
To the left of him?
10 o'clock.
Oh, big hair. That's the shooter.
Oh my God.
Let's shoot him. That's the one. That's the one. He's 260. If we want to kill this sheep, I'm thinking we're good. Oh, he's fixing to get in that crack. He's going behind a cactus now, for me anyway. There he is. Should stop right about there.
On him?
Yep.
Moving up. Yep.
Smoked him. Smoked him. Still
Might have been
moving.
a
He's
hair
going
back.
up. He's going up. You shot him in the center. Get up on his shoulder.
Is he facing to the left?
He's facing to the left.
Kind of uphill?
Yes. Feet are below him. Get him right in the shoulder. Got him. Dropped
Nailed him.
He's down. He's down, Billy. Good job, man. You just killed the tank. That's a real one, boys.
Is he rolling?
No, he hung his horn. He stopped right there. Buddy, he has got hair like crazy. Huh, did you see that? How it's so long, it's like sucked up and wrinkled.
Yeah. That first one we were looking at, the hair is
Not even
totally
close.
different.
Not even close. But he's right off the fence. What?
Thank you, brother.
And that was awesome, man.
That was pretty cool.
I heard you breathing it out too. I was like, oh,
I
you know
wasn't
what?
excited
He's
till-
got a little excited.
Oh,
You said there told me yesterday. I don't know. Yeah, you were really excited.
Oh yeah, I got excited. When you saw those, you turned around, I could hear a quiver in your voice. That's a beautiful picture right there. Like, yeah.
That's my downfall as a guide though. I get too into it, you know.
Yeah, I was kind of glad like the big one wasn't sitting on one of
Me
those
too.
pinnacles.
I was
on
a
the
little
left.
worried.
Let's find one up and
Yeah.
to the left.
Well, and looking at him, I knew there was some. I mean, that one we were looking at, he had short hair, but he had really heavy. But this one has big. This one has it all. He's got big horns, big hair.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful. There he is, boys. That ain't
Oh,
bad,
that ain't
Billy.
bad at all.
That ain't bad.
Well, that is what we thought. We might not be saying that, but yeah. So he must have been like right there in that second shot, or
He was right over there when he shot the first time, and then he walked around the corner and hung up. Yeah, I think you can go right through there, right to him, or however you want to. I'll follow you from here. Oh, Billy.
he's a keeper.
He's a keeper, man.
Man, that hair is cool. Man, they are stout.
You are what you eat, right?
Yeah, your product of your environment. Yeah.
I mean, everything they eat, me and you step on and say, ow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly right. I can't believe those thorny things that they're eating.
Just a smoker. It doesn't really even matter. That is the definition of a mature, big, free-range, long-haired auodad.
West Texas, day number 2. I think the best way to sum it up as far as I'm concerned is it went perfectly.
Yes, sir. It sure did. I got a hold of Billy and offered him to come down here on this hunt, and I was surprised that he did. But meant a lot to me that he did. I kind of look up to the guy and went to Alaska based off of his expertise and knowledge, and you know, got down here and was a little bit nervous. This wouldn't just quite live up to what he's used to, but I'm not that nervous about it anymore. I think these rocks are real, and these West Texas sheep are to be respected. They're They're a hardy animal. I've enjoyed chasing them for a lot of years, a ton of respect. And Billy killed him an awesome ram, big long-haired old ram, over 30 for sure, and had a great time. Showed him some javelinas, and more importantly, talked about our families and our love of the Lord, and just getting to enjoy his creative imagination. I mean, you roll from the Brooks range of snow-capped doll sheep grizzlies to down here of barren red rock, scorpions, snakes, and everything bites you, kill you, or hurt you. And it's the same God that made it both, you know. So just absolutely enjoyed it. And, you know, he's a brother in Christ. He's doing things for the Lord. And I think we're all called to sharpen each other, help each other, and bless each other. And I'm very humbled that God gave me the opportunity for you two young men to come down here and follow me around. And I'm just very humbled, very thankful for a father that's as cool as our father happens to be. It was really neat to hear you breathe and kind of think about the shot and get a little excited, that old school when you were a kid excited. Yep. And these things are just tough and just, yeah, just awesome.
To get them into a position where you can be selective and try to pick out a big one, particularly in a group that size, like things got to kind of come together, and that, I think that's why it's just like, it was perfect. It had everything, the backdrop, the stock, the preparation, us getting to know each other a little bit. When you called me and invited me to come on this hunt, it was pretty easy to accept. I would say that was in a time where I really felt like I was equally yoked with the Lord. And as I sit here having, you know, received this, and this came into a more of a fruition, so to speak, I don't feel as close to him as I did when you called me. And so I feel a little bit of kind of a sense of, you know, God is just. And it's almost like by me receiving this, there's a time for reprimand or reproval, or he who the Father loves, he chastens, right? But he also gives us things too. So I think in this way, I feel convicted through having received something in a time. I sowed in a different season, and here it is. I don't know. I don't know what that really means, but if I'm just being honest of how I feel, like, I don't feel as close to the Lord as I was, and I'm not entirely sure. There's things that I think I know, but I don't know. That's just me. Like, I don't think I could ever look back on this and feel right if I didn't share that. And so just being with you to keep me sharp, and just in this different season of life where I don't have that time away from the modern world, because this right here, like yesterday, meant a lot to me, to just not be on the cell phone, just out asking questions. And so thank you, Lord.
I brought you here, or was led to ask you to help sharpen me. I feel rusty in my faith. I feel almost hot and cold a little aspects. I don't know. I just really felt like surrounding myself with brothers, and you know, Alaska had a huge effect on me, and it's withered away a little bit, you know, as things do when you come back. But yeah, I mean, iron sharpens iron, and it's a painful situation. And we've had some real talks, you know. We've had some talks with each other that only best friends kind of have that kind of talk, or brothers or something, and we're neither. But just the camaraderie and the vulnerability that you show, and I showed on this hunt. And I think God knows what we need, and God put this trip together and made it all happen, because there's something more to it than killing a sheep.
Keep stoking the coals, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. yeah, I'm just flickering flame, you know. My fire is just good enough to cook on, but that ain't good enough to, you know, you want it where you got to be 6 foot from it or you're going to get burned, and that's where we need to try to stay.
Well, are you, is it gonna bother you to watch somebody else cape the critter?
Oh, heck no it ain't. And via your interview, I got the impression I'm going to be carrying it out, so cape away.
Want to keep you fresh for the pack.
Exactly.
I'm packing this sucker out.
No, I'm just kidding you, Billy.
I get to poke some holes in my own hide for a change, huh?
Well, it's probably been a minute, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't done much for serious skinning.
This is so awesome, just watching a guy. Usually I'm the guy in there, and man, I'd guide more often, Billy, if they'd all cape their own animals.
Yeah, with like a dull sheep, you just zip right through this.
Into the horns.
Yep, you just.
I'll go and kind of take it up into here a little bit. You've done this a million times, and you've done it for other people. Does it feel different doing your own? Just a little.
Yeah, it definitely. I wouldn't say that it feels better. I don't know that it doesn't feel bad by any means.
Exactly.
Just different. I don't know what I'm experiencing here.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
32.
Yeah, they ride really well too.
This is the heaviest pack that I have carried in 2 years and 4 months. And I do believe I have about 6-7 months ago, I started noticing I'm getting a little bit stronger. Kind of like the military adage, you gotta break you down to build you back up. It's like I had to, almost like I had to figure out how messed up my body was and how twisted up I was and allow my muscles to rest. Went from sleeping 5 hours a night to sleeping 8 to 9 hours a night and rest my body and allow it to just relax rather than keep on striving and pushing and pushing. I was driven by fear and pride. And I just had to trust in the Lord and surrender the fact that I wasn't going to be able to guide my whole life. Fought it for years, and I don't know, in a way this is almost like a rebirth for me of whatever his calling is for me as far as hunting and being in the wild. So enough jibber jabber. Let's see if I can. No, I think I can manage. Feels good having a heavy pack on my back.
Welcome home, Billy.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome back. It looks good, I can tell you that.
Lead us out of this hole. I'm following you. I don't want to think anymore. I just want to get into that like numb mode. One foot in front of the other mode. I missed that. After 2 years of not guiding in Alaska, with countless hours of therapy, chiropractors, prayers, and wrestling with God, the weight of the pack on my back and the loose rocks of West Texas beneath my feet gave me a great sense of hope. The pain was still there. The strength was nowhere what it once was. But I knew I could make it. And I knew I belonged right there with Chad. After all my years of boldly delving into the wilds of Alaska all alone, fully confident in my own strength, my own abilities, knowing full well I could handle whatever adversity or danger came my way, I found myself in a foreign wilderness, in a new season of life, and at a time where I needed a brother beside me. A brother who knew what I didn't, and could do things I couldn't. I was humbled, and I was grateful. Psalms 37 says, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." I did nothing to deserve an opportunity like this. No one in the world is more aware of that than me. But yet, there I was, packing an auodad off the mountain with a brother I'd met less than 48 hours earlier. Just another testimony of God's imagination and faithfulness, His truth, and His love.
As good and familiar as the heavy pack feels, the familiarity of the
Taking it off.
fairly heavy pack coming off feels good too.
You guys get sloppy seconds.
Jeremiah's used to it.
Time to chase a pig.
Dead, man. He's dead. That was totally unexpected.
Exactly.
Man, that thing died fast.
Yeah, it did.
No blood trail required.
Look at his canines are broke off.
Huh.
Wow.
So you're saying this is of no relation to a hog or a pig?
From what I've been told, they don't. There's no DNA comes to. They're more related to a rat than they are to a pig. That's just what I've been told.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen teeth that worn on one before ever. I mean, their teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, our teeth are gone.
Down into the gum line there.
Yeah. That oinker was gonna die of starvation. When was the last time you shot something with your bow?
13 years.
13 years.
Yep. All I ever did. Everybody just thinks, oh yeah, bet you just can't wait to get home and go hunting on your own. For 25 years, I'd go guiding, and particularly once I was married, I came home and I did nothing but work. I mean, I'd maybe go rifle hunting a few days, but that's what I had to do to guide. So I've hunted very, very little.
Well, you've crammed in a lot in 2 days.
So how many of these things have you shot?
Shoot, I may have shot about 10, maybe.
Okay.
You know, they're
Yeah.
just fun. As the first animal I ever killed with my bow was a javelina. So they're just put here on Earth for people to chase around with stick and string, in my opinion. They're just pretty cool bonus animal for busting your rump, hunting a big old sheep, and then get to go chase javelina with a bow and arrow. It's pretty unique for this part of the country. Give us an opportunity, you better get the bow ready, and you did, and we got one.
That's what you said in the rig. Like, should we go after it? Our hands are bloody already. Let's go after him. I'm like, I like it.
It's a bloody Friday for sure.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, brother.
You bet, man. Awesome, good shot too.
Very cool.
There wasn't no blood trailing required on that pig. Guarantee you
Is this,
could fill your jug out of that right there and be in the zone.
in the zone.
That's
kind of zone,
That's good stuff right there. I drink that all day. I drink worse than that for sure.
It's got a flow to it. So this is coming from a well or a spring, do you think? Do you know?
Oh, well, no, I think it's actually coming from the spring above the fort.
Oh, yep.
Yep. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, so you could drink that right there.
Oh,
yeah.
No worries.
I'm gonna try FaceTiming Bubba. Charlie.
Are you serious? Is that yours?
Yeah?
Did you shoot him with your bow?
Yep. The javelina, yes.
Is that a hog? Hyalina?
A javelina, they're different than a hog. But yeah, we got a really...
Dad got an auodad. But he did? Yeah, look. It's right there. Look at it. You see the ugly thing?
Oh, well, I gotta send you like a picture of it. I think we're gonna have to get a shoulder mount done. It's got like really long hair. It's really cool.
How old does he think it is? Like a really old one?
9 at least, maybe more. Yeah, it's big and old. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You said, what did you say? You surrendered to the ministry.
I was going to be a preacher or evangelist, something. I was going to be working for the Lord, basically, is what my plan was.
So do you think now you're out of His will, that you're not in the ministry, or what's your idea of ministry now compared to your idea of ministry then?
I don't think it was ever pride on my part, but I just thought bigger. And now I've realized, and this just happened to me about 2-3 years ago, my ministry now is this right here. That's what it is. So I don't push anything on anybody, but I have never been ashamed of who I am. And I'll get a hunter. I pray before he gets there. I'm very attentive to what I'm hearing from him, and the hunt usually plays out into some aspect that he needs it to play out. And I don't miss any opportunity to plug in, well, this is what I believe, this is what I think God's working on you, and no matter if they brought it up or not. And that's my ministry. And one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me is this year after elk season, a bow hunter, the people I worked for, Broken Arrow, just salt of the earth people, and they sent out a mass text, all us guides, after it was over, and said, and at the end of it, my guy was the only guy that didn't kill an elk with an art bow hunting, and he shot at 3, but at the end of it, he congratulated everybody, and he wrote on there, and boys, for the first time in the history of Broken Arrow, I think we changed a man's soul this hunt. Chad, you did what Chad, just went on and on about me. This guy left a different man. Everybody saw it. And it was a confirmation. It was like, this guy was worth, hundreds of millions of dollars. He brought bourbon in his day pack with him. The first day. The first day he wanted to quit. It was cussing me out. What are we doing here? We can't get down here. We can't do this. This is why I haven't hunted elk in 25 years. He's worth a ton of money. Could done it all. And by 5 days later, this guy was mean. This guy was putting face paint on. This guy was 2 deals of water. He forgot water one day, and he wouldn't turn back. I said, dude, let's turn back. We need to get you some water. I'm fine. I mean, totally transformed. Now, did he ever say anything about the Lord with me? No. But I constantly, I would constantly bring it up, just as God would give me a verse or something, and I would just, just tell him. And finally, one day I just grabbed him after he had really irritated me, and he'd missed a bull, and I just said, dude, I want you to know that this mountain and these elk and all this stuff don't give 2 damns who you are or how much money you got. You can't buy what we're trying to do. You can't do it. So you're going to have to dig deep, talk to your God, and figure out what he's trying to teach you here. Because he's trying to teach you something. Because you missed a giant 20 minutes into this hunt. And now I knew when you did it, this was going to be a drag now. And man, he just embraced it. He sent me a long text message thanking me, and just that he was reconnecting with the word. And I'm like, that's my ministry. That's what I taught at church for a long time. And when I go back to church, we need to get you back in here. Like they kind of guilt you into, you almost feel like you're not doing enough. But I'm like, man, I got my deal. This is, and I'm content with it. I mean, I'm like, this is enough for me. And I think, who knows what the future will hold for that. But, one-on-one, 10 days with somebody. Yeah. Instead of just becoming a friend and helping them kill their animal, I'm more interested in what they leave. How they leave, where's their heart at, what are they thinking, and that's kind of my focus now. Just let God and his creation be the minister, and then I try to just be the person that shows them it,
Experience the beauty, vastness, the unforgiveness.
Welcome to Alaska.
And the thrill, the Alaskan wilderness firsthand. Log on to BillyMollsAdventures.com and request for Billy to personally help you select your own Alaskan adventure. Here, you'll also find information on hosting Billy as a public speaker for your next corporate event, Christian outreach, or conservation organization. Log on today and live the adventure.
Talking? It's too early for talking.
Not too early for Copenhagen though, huh?
No, I'm trying to fast forward wake up. They do a quality rinse job out of the water trough water. Perfect.
Bang old heavy. And it definitely has a heat shield on it. Oh, he does have one split. His G3 is forked rather than his G2. Morning day 3, soaking in the sunrise, glassing a few auodad. Poked over the hill, about 20 javelina. So we're gonna go kick some rocks and try to find a big old boar. Are they boars?
Boars, yeah.
Boars?
Yeah. Let's see if we can't stick a big boar to go with your old grandma.
Yeah, get some tusks.
Yeah.
Get a tusker. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I think they're right over there. I can't help but think these type of experiences and things are for other people. This is the stuff other people do. I still hard to grasp that I'm here. Some days it's like I don't really think about it, and then other days where you're just kind of, I don't know, you gotta slow down, I guess. Never would have dreamed that this would be possible.
Still not sure what to make of that. To have my shirt stinking like an auodad, pretty humbling. I was a kid, come home from Sundays from church. I'd watch, there was All-Star Wrestling was on, Grizzly Adams was on at various times, I don't just remember, but, and then there was like an hour of TV for a couple of years. I'd say I was about like 12, 13, 14 maybe. A guy by the name of Buck McNeely, or Buck McNeil or something, he had a hunting show. And I was like, man, that'd be the life, you know? And so 30 years later, 30 plus years later, some way, shape, or form, in such the route at which that took place is kind of like looking at this canyon. There's a whole lot of things working together, and somehow the water gets through it all, goes downstream. It's pretty amazing. There's a role that I know I'm not wholly stepping into it, or I'm apprehensive to. There's like a minefield of traps in it that I know that I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm making a really big jump, and also like I feel a lot more responsibility in it. Where before I was just out chasing my own dream and my own life, and if something didn't work or if there was the consequences didn't seem real, and maybe that's just Satan pointing out to me all the potential downfalls, pitfalls, or dangers, or things that I could screw up, or ways that I could do things wrong or hurt others. And so yeah, it's just very much a cautious thing, like to move slowly into, for Chad, just to, I don't know, do right by him in this, and also just be me and, you know, spend time with him. He's given so much, and I almost feel like a little bit like hesitant to continue to step into it a little bit. I don't know. Well, we got Chad waving. Okay, so should we drive?
They're right there in that rocks. 150 yards away, and they're scattered all up that draw. To the right, Billy. To the group, there's one by himself to the right. Facing away, he's a good one. Kind of in the brush. No, wide open.
Is he just standing there looking right?
Yeah, he's got black on his jawline. He's big.
Boy, yeah, that one carries his mass, don't he?
Yeah.
I can't believe how they let us get away with all this.
I mean, there's a couple, and there's at least one in here that's big in the group, but he ain't as big as that other one, I don't think. Have you looked at these that are even closer?
That's what we were looking at, yeah. There was one pretty good one down in there.
I still think that other one's bigger, but I mean, that one's he's 30 in around.
Oh, man. Yeah, now he's looking at us, that big one you've been looking at.
Oh, is he?
Oh, look at that hair.
Oh, yeah, that's a stud.
His hair is impressive.
Good grief. Yeah, that's 32, 33. That's the kind of sheep you shot. God, that's tempting not to shoot, I can tell you that.
He's kind of by himself looking up here.
Man, I should have brought a pack.
Here's my bino case. all by himself. Just stepped away.
You looking the other way?
Yep.
He's looking to the right?
Yep, and away.
Slowly?
Yep, just turned to left. Just walking.
We'll do that.
Yep.
Get away from him.
Yeah, I can't even pick him out now. It's got to be him. I'm not even on. Oh yeah. Yeah. Flopped him.
What happened?
You're vibrating.
I was falling down. I was sliding. Where did he go?
He didn't go anywhere. He's.
Oh, I see him. I'm sure that's him.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure.
Wow. I didn't plan that at all. Hot dog.
He's big enough to get you. I love it. You're freaking shaking. I love it.
I was shaking. I was afraid I was going to die. I got in prone on them. All these rocks are.
Yeah, that's a ledge.
Yeah, and when I unhooked my elbow right there, I squirted forward about 2 inches, and then it got me off canter, and I was like, I'm going to scope myself for sure. And I hope when I do, this stuff don't just fall like that. Oh man, even Elmer Fudd can kill one every now and then. All you need, people, is wear the packs. I made a pack, put a pack down right there. I shoot him comfortably.
Yeah. How often do they kind of look like that and not that spooky? It's kind of like Dall sheep. Sometimes they're flighty, other times they're just, they don't care.
100%.
And when you're above them, kind of like that particularly?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, my opinion, the big deal of it, right here, I can't see you.
Yeah, blinded.
So I think they, obviously, most of them knew there was something going on up here, but could be cattle, could be can't smell us.
Yeah.
Other than just a little silhouette here and there, I mean that's straight into the sun.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, as you seen yesterday, we seen sheep right here, and we didn't get within 1,200 yards of them, and they were leaving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, I don't know what happens right here, but I was like, I hope that thing don't. That'd be cool. Did I get him?
You're gonna die going forward or down.
I've never chased the dollar. I will never tell you I got too consumed with success. I know that was never my motivation. I'm not afraid to fail, and I think that had a lot to do with some success. But as your materialistic things and the comfortability of things increases, I have looked back now and noticed that perhaps I didn't think I needed him as much. Just to be real honest, I have failed to be the leader to my family that I am to my clients. I don't let nobody get away with anything when they're with me, I don't let myself get away with stuff. I do my job 100%, no matter how hurting I am. With family, with my wife and kid, specifically my wife, I have failed to lead her, to hold her accountable, to let her hold me accountable. Just some very big walls have been built up, and as a couple of years ago, you start thinking about being an empty nester, and our awesome kid Sadie moving out or getting married, and you're stuck with the reality of it's just going to be me and you. Just to be dead honest, my plan was to move up here. Not get divorced or nothing, but I was just moving up here. I was going to guide full time. And that relationship has been cold, and we've been kind of toxic for each other for many years. She deserves a better man than I am. I'm called to love her like the church, and I have forgotten how. And I think, in all honesty, she has forgotten how with me. It's just things and sin and both of our past have built up walls that I felt was unclimbable. And I didn't know if the work would be worth the reward. I kind of will say this. I kind of resided in the fact that I was going to lean more on the grace of Jesus Christ. And when the time was right and my duty as a father was done, my daughter was raised, by golly, I made it. I stuck in there, and Mandy, to her credit, stuck in there, and we did this. Then, you know, we gave you a good start, girl. I'm always here for you, but I'm going to pray for forgiveness, but I'm fixing to split the sheets here, and I'm fixing to go follow my heart, and I'm going to go be happy. I'm going to be in a relationship that makes me cuckoo caca. And just speaking that, you know, to friends or whatever, gave it wings, gave it life, started hardening my heart. The devil walks around waiting to devour you, and I was giving him flavor. Talking to you, sharing with me, being vulnerable. I caught myself telling you stuff like, guess what, Billy? When you die, you don't get to go up there and say, well, it was because of that. That's why I didn't do that. That's why I wasn't a good husband. It was because of her, and this is what she did. God, there's not a separate line for excuses. You're held accountable for you, not for them. And just speaking that to you, basically stronger than excuses. You have no excuses. You do your job, and it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter. And speaking that to you was actually speaking it to me. And I'm like, the ultimate deal of a man is to protect his family and provide for his family and guide his family. And I totally failed at 2 of them. I just realized that I will never find a woman more compatible to me than the one I have that led me to the Lord to begin with. Well, I got peer pressured in by Billy Molls. No, I didn't. We ran into a giant sheep, so I had an extra tag, and I used it on myself. So had Billy here and you here and video and everything. It just seemed perfect, and it's a big one. Problem is its location. So we're gonna have to try to figure our way down off through this rock chute and get to it. Crow flies, it's only 300 yards down there, but this could be a 3-hour deal. So it's definitely gonna be 70 to 80 degrees straight up at the first and beginning, and we're gonna slip and slide our way to it, but we got 2 big rams dead, and it's a great day, awesome day. So the plan is not die. That's the plan.
Sounds like a good plan. Not die and come back with a ram.
Yes. Sheep hunting now, boys.
Shade is kind of nice.
Yeah. You know what else is nice? Packers.
Holy crap.
Well, I know one thing. He looks heavy.
That hair is just so
mean,
cool. It's otherworldly, that hair.
Shoot, yeah, man. I'm glad you could be here.
Freaking sweet.
Yeah.
I love it. I was way stoked for you to shoot it.
It was just right up there. We shot it, but Would it take an hour to get here?
Probably about a 40-degree angle up, maybe.
Yeah.
I know, maybe 30.
Well, we started out this morning to go look for some javelinas for Billy to shoot, and we found this ram, and I had a tag burning a hole in my pockets. There's another cool old ram. Super stoked about it, very thankful. Good Lord lets me chase these critters, and it was pretty cool to have Billy and Jeremiah here with me, and it just don't get no better than that. We got B-52 bombers flying over about 30 foot from us. Trash from illegals everywhere, and yeah, we got a heck of a walk to get out of here. Not that far, but very technical, I guess, so looking forward to the rest of the day for sure. And can't give my family enough credit for letting me live my dreams, and obviously the good Lord for keeping me healthy enough to do it and wise enough to appreciate it. I remember as a kid overhearing conversations about so-and-so and so-and-so, and then my dad or uncle or somebody would say, yeah, he's a guide. And I remember just thinking, like, special forces of the hunting world, a guide, a big game guide, that's awesome. I look up to mountain men, people like that and fascinate me, and I wanted to be a part of it. I started off guiding for a guy out of Colorado that had a deal here in New Mexico, and learned really fast. Egos get in the way a lot. The jealousy, the kind of pissing matches, if you will, competitiveness, I guess. But I took great joy in guiding people, and still do. And finally landed with Broken Arrow Outfitters out of Hobbs, New Mexico, and found my family. It's work for people who want you to succeed. And in business, when we were in business, we surrounded ourselves with employees that were better than we are. And that's how we all rise. And, guiding for these guys has just been a blessing. It's just neat to watch the transformation of men, of the expectations they have when they get here versus the reality of what it is. And you see the guys that dig deep and are willing to get in the game and put egos aside and bleed and sweat and cuss and pray and laugh and cry. And I do this for fun. I don't need the money to do it. So I think there's a little bit of freedom in that. I hope to guide many, many more years. I 100% know there's going to be a day that I no longer can on a whim climb to the top of that mountain. That's kind of scary to me, but also I know God is a faithful God, and He will change. I think your motivation and what you're doing in life will change to meet where you are. Just because you don't guide anymore, the doors have opened now that you're doing something else that you're almost uncomfortable doing, but at the end of your life may have more meaning to you than your guide. So that's where I'm gonna go with it. If He lets me continue to do what I'm doing, I'm gonna do it. If it gets to where I'm just the old dog on the porch talking when they come in, then I'm gonna do that to the best of my abilities to represent His kingdom also.
So what's that feel like? You've shot a whole bunch of them. I've shot one of them. Do you think it feels much different for you as it does me?
No, I mean, it feels good, obviously, or we wouldn't do that. I don't know. This ram, to be honest, totally fooled me. Fooled my boss too, because I sent him a picture and told you what he said. He is old, and that's number one. He's kind of really right there at the minimum of what we like to shoot as far as size, but you get to crawl off and go try to have to actually use your brain to figure out how to get to them. There's a lot of country in this world bigger But there's I mean, you know, a little bit rougher than this is undoable. So it's cool. Burn your lungs, stretch your legs, and that added 3 inches to him for me. Simple as that. So when I look at him, I'll remember. And that's really what it's all about. That's why you keep them at all, is you remember those days. So I'll remember dropping off in the red rocks and cactus with my Wisconsin buddy retrieving a sheep. Yeah, no regrets at all. Wouldn't change it if I had the power to change it. I wouldn't change anything.
Final afternoon, heading out to top off an exceptional 3 days. So what's in store, we will soon find out. Any projections of our final afternoon here, Chadwick?
I project fun.
All right. Yeah, talking about one-liners. Telling Jeremiah, I think one of the best ones I've heard lately was that guide one. What's your success rate? 100%, everybody pays. You gotta remember that one.
I'm glad you said it again. I probably forgot it.
Pull that one out while you're having a few group brewskis at base camp with the guys around. They'll all get a kick out of that one. Chad certainly will.
Let's go kill us a collared peccary. Peccary.
I was just thinking he would do what the other ones do, you know?
Stop and turn around. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, see, maybe stay right here on the edge of the brush. Just right here. Oh, that's a good one. 45. Oh, get another arrow. Hit it high. You hit it high.
Oh, I thought I drilled it. Did I hit it?
Yeah, high.
As it were, the arrow grazed its back. And in striving for the perfect ending to our hunt, we may well have chased those javelina through the thorns, yuccas, and cactus farther than we did the auodad.
No, too much brush.
But like God often does, there was a more perfect, divine ending to our day and to our adventure in the Guadalupe Mountains than any of us could have imagined.
Well, crap. Well, that's the way it was supposed to work out.
It came in the way of a text message from Chad's wife, Mandy.
Hopefully by the time this airs, there's a miracle to talk about, but we kind of already had a mini one. And, you know, I've sensed my child, Sadie, worry about me and her mom. And we are on the point of call it quits or fix it. I'm up there with you. We're doing this sheep hunt. It's the last sundown. It's right after dark, basically, headlamps on. Kind of processing what we just went through the last couple hours. I get out of the total blue, a text message from my wife, basically saying, I'm not listening to Satan's lies anymore. I'm not doing this. Basically telling me that she's taken the guard off her heart, which she rightfully probably had. I created it. And it was just confirmation of prayer does work. I don't know the end result of this deal, but I know that was huge. That text message, huge for her. I don't deserve that second chance, really. And the ball is 100% in my court now. I mean, it is up to me to get strong, get right, cut out some things, clean up some things, focus back on my everyday relationship with the Father. I look at my life and I see the blessings I've had, the people I think I've influenced, the people that have influenced me, and how close I've come to destroying all of that just from giving up. And just through talking with someone has rekindled my flame. You know, the ashes are getting spread off, the coals are starting to fester. My prayer going into Alaska is, Father, I don't want to come home. If me coming home, you can't show that, but if me coming home and what I do destroys what you've done for me and my family, I don't want to come home. Kill me. I mean, bear something, please. And I came home.
Hallelujah.
And I've never heard him talk. I mean, I felt the presence my whole life, but you know, I got still, I got quiet, I prayed hard, I got in it, and I clearly 100%, as real as this cup is here, I heard him say, Chad, I love you. And it just broke me. I mean, and you know, growing up, I didn't grow up being told I love you. When I got back from Alaska, my daughter was, I guess the word is uncomfortable. She seemed uncomfortable a little bit, and she finally came to me one day, and just shortly after, and kind of teary-eyed and nervous to talk about it, and like, what's going on, Sadie? And she says, Dad, I was literally driving down the road, wasn't thinking about nothing. I was listening to praise music on the road and kind of praying as I was driving, and God like spoke to me. I've never heard him do this before. I don't want you not to believe me. I know this sounds crazy. I'm nervous to tell you. And he told me to tell you because he knew that you would believe me, that he cannot change your heart if you keep guarding it. I think that's where I'm at. You know, I'm here. I didn't get eaten by a bear, so I'm not going to have the cool funeral of what a man of God he was, and deacon of our church, and family life, and everything set up financially. I'm unfortunately not going to have that. I'm going to have, it's time to go to work. My wife has stuck by me thick and thin. I totally take responsibility for all of it. The team loses, it's the coach that gets fired. Well, I didn't get fired in Alaska, as far as I had a message from my Lord through my daughter, which is spot on. That's the one I would probably believe. So it's time to soften my heart, open my eyes, shed sin that I'm still engaging in, repent, and get plugged back in and make him the center, and my legacy, my marriage, and my children. Not what I've killed and my success in the field. Enough Chad stuff on what I think would be a good legacy, and it's time to what God thinks is a good legacy, and that's the health of my marriage. I want to go down walking up the hill like I did, you know, in the Floridas when I thought I was going to die, and I made that decision. If I continue, I may die, because I told you the story, I'm blacking out, and I decided I was going to die going up the hill, not down the hill. And that's what I'm going to do with my family. I believe I'm claiming it, speaking
the power of words, I'm claiming it right now. The best thing is in front of us. The best part of me and Mandy's relationship is in front of us. The best part of whatever God can do for me is if it's just a supporter, if it's just an encourager, if it's actually a leader in something, that's in front of us. It's not behind, it's in front. I never have hunted an animal once in my life that I didn't 100% believe I would kill. I would harvest that animal. I am going to harvest that animal. And I don't base success on that, but I'm going to use what I've learned in hunting, the tenacity I have of failure is not an option in my marriage. You know, I'm going to take what I've learned in the woods and I'm going to turn it on into personal. And you know, I'm just claiming that right now, that it's never too late, and I'm going to finish strong. We're going to finish strong, and it's all because of who we represent, and he will have the glory in all of it. Because if you've learned anything about me, it's yeah, I don't deserve any of this. I'm looking for my finish line to finish strong. I'm going to die. I'm going to leave this world walking uphill towards the Father.
And that wasn't a mini miracle at that windmill. That was a bona fide miracle. How many years has it been since you've had something like that? And that timing, that's a miracle.
Oh yeah, no.
That's a wall falling down, bro.
Yeah, I can get in the flesh and justify a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I
Try all you want.
can't. I mean, it took me 10 minutes to share that with you because I knew where this was going to go if I did, and I knew it. So. Was it more comfortable just to stay in the same slop or bring it up and go, well, good grief. Something just happened that I don't think I could have done. She did. So, I mean, it's all on you, Mr. Chad. It is totally here. You know, right the ship, live with consequences and go on, or stay dumbly numb and spend eternity reflecting on the moment that you could have took the narrow path, but you kept on going down the wide one.
Do you see any correlation of what you're going through and that hunter that you talked about this year?
Thinking back on that client I got this fall, you know, has everything, comfortable, has pretty much fulfilled all his dreams, and kind of just going through the paces, I guess, now. Just seeing him wanting to, it wasn't easy, so he wanted to quit, and was strangely enough really agitated at me for the first day or two. I can promise you he did not have kind words to me, but there is a vulnerability of men like that when you get them into spaces that they don't know how to find the road. You know, they can get mad at you and they can pout and walk and cry all they want, but they know for a fact if they don't keep me in sight, they're going to perish out there. And seeing how at the beginning it was a resentful job for, like, he paid for this, you know, to try to follow me and hated every minute of it, but knowing he had to stay there, to see him at the end of the hunt, we get the truck in sight, Billy, after 10, 12 miles, he's beside me, he takes off running and runs to the truck and says, I beat you. To see that change of dragging his sorry, worthless butt behind me to take off running in a playful spirit of yes, and let's do it tomorrow, and he did it every day after he did it, reminded me I have to keep the Father in my sight. As hard as it is, and the mountains we're going up, I don't know how to make them up. I don't know where we're at. I'm exploring new depths of my relationship with the Lord, and it feels like pain following him and trying to become stronger, but I know I have to keep him in my sight or I will be lost. And all the preachers and all the YouTubes and all the deals of this earth will never replace personal time of you and the Word. And doing that, And then seeing how he transformed into excitement and a leader and someone that I was looking for, I can see the goal. I can see the end. I keep following the Father. Before too long, I'm going to be not beside him, but I'm going to be close enough to the goal, to the finish line, that it's going to be no longer a burden, no longer a fear. It's going to be a joy. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be able to finally to smell the pines like we used to enjoy the puppy dog ears like we used to just to strive to get the innocence that we had in our youth back, and melt the scales off our heart, the scales out of our eyes. And the only way I know to do that is to keep visual a watch on the Father. And he's little to me right now, but I still see him, and I do recognize I'm falling behind. So it's time to start putting the work in to catch up, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I guess that's how I could relate him to me.
Yep, that guy surrendered to you and trusted you, and what he didn't know and what he didn't believe. He got mad at you, but he stuck with it. He didn't quit. He walked the hard miles, and in that he grew it. He's like, bring it on. I got this, no longer. And what did that guy do? At the end of the hunt, what did he do?
Well, before he ever even left here, he paid the deposit for next year.
Boom.
And then he sent a text message, I will be ready next year. He was unprepared for this. I will be ready this next year. And the defeat meant more than the victories almost, because you can see the victory coming through the defeat.
But you got to walk it out. And I think as we're sitting here, we have a few little breaks here, you get a little bit of insecurity, like, man, do I want to have this on there? I think what you're doing is you're paying your deposit. It's like you're speaking of, you're setting yourself up for failure, knowing that he knows things you don't know. You're trusting and you're obeying. What I will always remember about this hunt, as cool as it was to shoot in the ram, seeing you turn around, your eyes get excited, and you tell me, he's like, man, I heard you breathing hard, and I was excited. But that moment at the windmill, when I look at that and that text message, and you let me read that, praise the Lord.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too. So
you're walking into a new wilderness where you're not comfortable. I'm walking into a new wilderness where I'm not comfortable. Praise the Lord. We're still walking in the wilderness. Yeah. Let's go through that valley and up that mountain and die going uphill.
That's exactly right.
Before I ever met him, one thing Chad shared that really struck me was him saying he wanted to be surrounded by brothers who weren't afraid to grab him by the collar and always tell him the truth, no matter the cost. As the enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, I want guys like Chad Sayre tethered in my string.
That you would be glorified in whatever it is, the story that we share. Lord, I just pray for surrendered hearts to your will, not our own.
As we follow Christ through the wilderness of our lives, when we pitch camp and settle in for rest, I want to know that when I'm down and out, tired and hurting, that my brother is going to get up during the night and stoke the fire when I can't. And I want a brother who isn't too prideful to tell me when it's my turn to do the same for him. Our covenant as brothers in Christ is to stoke the fire for each other. And let the Holy Spirit breathe new life into the coals and set each other ablaze for the adventure that awaits us in the wilderness ahead. Thank you for watching this film. We hope you were encouraged, sharpened, and challenged. And also thank you for all the support for Modern Day Mountain Man and Trust the Guide. Thank you for your donations. We do appreciate them. If anybody's interested, we are not a 501c3, but if you do want to help support us in the production of these films, you're certainly welcome to. You can find our P.O. box in the description. Also, if you're looking for ways to support, share, like, comment on these films. If you're interested in some hats, some merch, you can find them at our website. But we thank each and every one of you. Thank you again for watching, and as always, trust the guide.
For more Modern Day Mountain Man DVDs and digital downloads, log on to BillyMollsAdventures.com. Here you'll also find books, a wide variety of merch, and information on hunting opportunities with Billy. When he's not hunting, Billy travels nationally and internationally as a public speaker, sharing his captivating, soul-stirring tales of adventure by way of his one-of-a-kind, down-to-earth delivery at corporate and community events, Christian outreaches, and conservation organizations. Just like the Alaskan wilderness, no one leaves a Billy Molls presentation the same person as they enter it. Log on or call for more info.